here this morning at Linear Fisheries. We're fishing Oxlease Lake. It's beautiful water, well known for its carp and its tench fishing. I'm here today to fish for the tench. I started in a swim to my left, got here last night, put a bit of bait in and got the rods out this morning, but within an hour or so I saw fish rolling further to my right, so it's a bit of a hassle sometimes, but it's always worth it. So I've moved, I've just got set up here now. Spent a bit of time looking for where the fish were rolling over. There's a lot at the bottom here. There's not much weed in it this year. There's quite a bit in the margins, but out there it's quite a silty, clayey bottom, but there are hard patches. And I find it really important to try and find those hard patches. So I spent quite a bit of time before I got my rods out, leading around with a marker float. Found 2 or 3 spots, really quite tight they are, so really difficult to find, but like I said before, it really is well worth the effort. And then we've clipped up. I've used the Avid marker sticks to get my distance spot on. Spotted a nice mix of bait out. We've got a series of Sonu pellets. We've got F1, bloodworm, S pellets, and then I'm feeding maggots and castor and chopworm through the feeder, just to get a nice mix of bait out. They're all quite traditional, common tench baits, but in my experience they are particle feeders, so much better to have a bed of fine particles than put something out like ground feed, which isn't for me really for tench. So the rigs are quite straightforward. I've got near Terric 6000 reels and the Expert 1.75 rods with 10-pound Expert line. Nice, robust, nice and cheap line, to be perfectly honest, but comes in bulk spools, so there's no hassle keep renewing. If you start getting a few frays, if you're going to lose 10 yards of line off it, it's really good, robust stuff. I use it for nearly all my fishing, the Expert mono. But I'll show you some of the end rigs. The end rigs I use are, again, it's really quite straightforward. We've now got these ready heli kits, which it's just an update on the ones we did before. We've refined them a little bit, so they now have hard beads between the rubber stops, and of course the little tail sleeve there, which keeps the line proud off your main line, stops tangles. Really good these are for tench fishing and for a lot of specialist fishing. The hook link I use, I like the Expert Power Mono. This one's in 10-pound. As I've said, there's not much weed here, but we are fishing for big fish. I might scale down later to 8-pound and give that a try if nothing's happening. But we'll see how it goes. This line's really it's quite a robust line. The nice thing about it is it comes off the spool. It feels when it comes off the spool a little bit kinky, but you just wet it, pull it, and it pulls tight, nice and straight, supple. And then finally the hooks. These are the hooks that I use. It's by far the best pattern I've found for tench fishing. Myself and some of my Korums colleagues have caught hundreds and hundreds of big tench on these hooks. And that's a size 10, but as I said, the water's very clear, the sky's very clear, so I'm actually fishing with a size 12. I've come down a little bit. On the hooks I've got maggots on one and chopped dendras on the other. So we're going to give that a try and see which one produces. I might swap the rods around if one's producing and the other isn't. It takes a while, maybe for a couple of days, so it does sometimes take a little bit of a while to get a feel for where the tench are and what they're having. But it does pay to chop and change when you can fish with 2 or 3 rods. I think what we'll do now is I'll pull one of my rods in and I'll actually show you how we rig it up, show you how quick and easy it is to get an effective tench set up using these components. As I said, now I'm going to try and show you how to tie the tench rig that I'm using today using these new components. So first of all, I'm going to use the heli kit, the ready heli kit. There's 3 in a pack. You have 2 rubber stop beads, the buffers, 2 hard beads either side of a swivel with a short piece of tubing to push the line out, and then the other one. So you simply wet the line, push it through, it's 1, thread the beads, 2, and then so I just get that one out, the final rubber buffer, like so. Put that back down now. as you can see there now, you've got the two. Just keep moistening it so it doesn't heat your line up and damage your line. What you've got there now is the two beads, and a nice, I always have it not tight, slightly open, so you get that nice spin on your helicate. Okay, now the way I fish this up the line, up the main line, and I use a feeder on this end. Now the feeder I like to use are the Korum combi feeders in 60 grams, which is just gives you enough bolt effect when you're fishing for tench. So you can just tie that straight on the end of your line. I don't do that. I'm a little bit rigid sometimes, so what I like to do, just so there's no danger of any tangling, I use these so a little beep there on my alarm. No, I use these tails off a camo running rig kit. They've got a whole new range of Korum products just coming out, end tackle, all in this camo. Now a lot of people might think the camo on your end tackle is a bit of a gimmick, but I personally feel it just gives you another couple of percentages. Every time you up your chances by a small percent, I think it ups your overall chances of catching fish. So if there's any advantage to be gained at all, I do it. I do my best to put the odds in my favour. So what I like to use is one of these camouflaged end pieces, just so it neatens everything off. Just a little bit of lubrication first. There we go. Thread it on like that. Then take the feeder without dropping it. Use your knot of choice. I use a 4-turn grinner. Seems to stand up well with this line. That's 4. As ever, moisten again. Gently pull it down, like so. Nice and tight. Trim off the excess mono, like so. Put in my tackle box and dispose of that later. And then again, lubricate the line and then just push that down over the end of your feeder, like so. Which I think gives you a nice neat finish, and it makes it unable to tangle. You got your rig going up the line there. Now I'll just move that up slightly, I think. There we go. Now to complete the rig, obviously we need to put a hook on. I like to use one of these little Preston boxes to store my hook links. So I have 2 or 3 different hook links made up. We've got the one with the just a straight hook here, which I can fish a large lobworm on. When I'm fishing a worm rig, I like to use the quick stops. So I've got hooks already tied up with a quick stop on there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'll take it out. So we have a size 12 hook with the quick stop in that little loop there to, I think this one's 8-pound mono. So that's all good to go now. Now the little sleeve on the ready-made kit needs threading onto the hook link, so I use a fine Korum baiting needle, pull it through the loop, just pull that over. I don't know if you can make it out on there, but the ready heli has a quick link, a nice strong metal quick link there. The loop that we just tied, let's turn it round, the loop that we just tied goes over that, pull it tight, then the sleeve ensures that it can't come out and keeps it standing proud. Now it's important that your hook link can't reach your feeder, that way it can't tangle. That's just about right, it's getting towards the rig tube there, so maybe I'll just nick it up another inch. Like that, and there you go. Finished tench rig. Really, really easy. Tied up in just a few seconds, well maybe a few minutes. It's totally anti-tangle and very, very effective. Myself and a lot of my friends who fish for Korum also have caught hundreds and hundreds of big tench on this rig. It's really, really successful. You should give it a try. Okay, so a little bit about the baits I'm using here today. As I said before, I think tench are grazers, grazing feeders, so they prefer a bed of particles as opposed to larger baits, stodgy baits like ground feed and boilies, etc. So I much prefer to use small particles. All my pellets that I use are 2 milli. I don't go above 2 milli when I'm tench fishing. So I've started for years. I've been fishing with the S pellet. Really good pellet, really got lots of high attract oils in it. It's got high oil content, so it does draw fish in a well, and that's a really good pellet I've been using for a number of years. But of late I've started mixing it to try and get a full kind of cacophony of flavours and scents and all those kind of things coming out of it. So I started mixing the pellet mix that I put in with lots of other different flavours and types. So this is krill. Another one from Sonu. These are low oil pellets as opposed to these which are high oil, so not as much leakage, but still lots of flavour. I mean, everything loves krill. All the fish that swim, you can catch on krill. We have F1 pellets, which are a much sweeter type of pellet. Tench, in my opinion, like sweet flavours, so F1's absolutely perfect. Things like Scopex, pineapple, F1 pellets, great stuff. Again, 24/7, another really sweet flavour. Very successful pellet since Sonia Bates brought it out. A lot of fish have been caught on 24/7, so that goes in the mix. And finally, to give it a bit of natural flavour, these bloodworm fish meal pellets are really good. They've got concentrated bloodworm flavours and extracts in them, so some of the natural enzymes and some of the natural flavours that tench are used to feeding on will come out of those and will leak out of those as you're fishing. Obviously I supplement those with casters. Really good food that tench find quite a natural particle. These I feed through the feeder, the open-ended feeder, which I showed you earlier. But when I'm fishing them on the hook, well, I don't actually fish these on the hook for hook baits. I use plastic artificial casters. Just stops small nuisance fish from cracking them and bursting them when they're taking it, so you know you've got a good bait on your hook at all times. And of course you won't be anywhere without maggots. Red maggots is my preferred one for tench, and again I sometimes put a little bit of flavouring on, a nice sweet flavouring, pineapple, Scopex, something like that. So that's the kind of range of baits you'd use for the tench fishing. We've got some of those spotted out there. It's unfortunate, it's a really hot day. The pressure's not great, but we're still hopeful we might get 1 or 2. And with all this flavour out there on the good spots, I'm still hopeful we might get 1 or 2 fish. Oh, it's moving again. Yeah. Come on. There we go. I've finally got a take this morning. Feels like a decent fish. Unfortunately it's gone round the other rod and it's found some weed. So I'm in a bit of a state here, but hopefully we'll still get him in. He's fighting well. Feels quite a decent fish, but I can feel it grating on the other line. It's really isn't what I wanted. Come on.
Over the top.
I think it wrapped round it, so that's it, that's it. Did you bring it then? We don't want this to drop off. Oh man. Come on. Oh, I'm still filming, I keep forgetting. I don't want this to come off, mate. Let's just see if you can reach it with net, mate. I don't think you can you? Can you get your... Yeah, quick as you can, mate. Good man. Oh, it's on, it's on. Good man. Good man. Right.
That's a good fish, mate.
It's getting on for 8+, I think. Best go and get my scales, aren't I? So, it looks like the move last night actually paid off. When we were rodsing last night, it didn't fish. Put some bait out, some fresh bait out this morning, mix of pellets again, maggots in the feeder. First light, the rod tore off, and I think I caught one of Oxlease's smallest fish, a little tench of about £1. But then 10 minutes later, the middle rod went off again, and I got this beauty. That's £9, 1 ounce, pristine Oxlease tench, typical linear fish, stunning creature. Really, really pleased with that. As you probably saw from the filming, it did get me in a bit of a state. It kited heavily off to the left, went under my other rod, and managed to weed itself up. So Rob had to drop the camera, get the net, and give me a hand netting it, because we want to make sure we get the fish out safely. Fish welfare always comes first. So the sun's going to start burning through now. It's getting to mid-morning. I think I'm going to call it a day now. I don't think we'll catch anything else this afternoon. So that's a really nice fish to end the session on. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Just a short video showing you how our Korum rigs make fishing simple when you can catch fish like this. Go out there and give them a try. I'm going to get this one back now. So here we go, let's put her back. She's fully recovered. Swim off strongly. Look how clear that water is. Beautiful gravel pit tench. That'll do.